As announced earlier, now HDB has a new framework to classify BTO projects as standard, plus, and prime. Out of these three, the newest concept is probably the plus project. This is because standard is basically the previous system with the 5-year MOP, prime is basically similar to PLH model, so it's the plus flat that needs more introduction. Plus projects are developments located at more desirable locations in different regions of Singapore. Typically, these projects will have better connectivity near MRT station or have closer proximity to amenities such as schools and community clubs. For example, let's say there's an upcoming BTO project next to the Woodlands MRT station. It is Woodlands so far from the CBD, so it cannot be a prime project. But still, Woodlands itself is already quite mature with a lot of amenities. So then, this project will be classified as a plus project. And with the government's past statement that by 2030, 8 in 10 households will live within a 10 minutes walk of a train station, many people are now wondering whether that will imply the majority of new HDB BTO flats will be considered a plus project instead of a standard. So, what are the things that you need to know about plus projects? Obviously, the MOP will be 10 years. In fact, when talking about plus project, this is what most people know is that the MOP is 10 years. But there are actually a bunch of other restrictions. For plus projects, you cannot rent out the whole flat even after MOP has ended. You can still rent out rooms regardless of whether already MOP or not, but just cannot rent out the whole unit. If let's say you sell your unit, the resale buyer also cannot rent out the whole unit after their MOP. Some of you might ask, can I just lock one room and claim that I live there? Contrary to popular belief, actually this is not allowed. If we look at the HDB website, they explicitly stated that such a trick is not allowed and they will take action on owners. I know that some people gamble and take the risk, but if somebody reports you and the HDB finds out, you will be in trouble lah. The next rule is income ceiling applies for future resale buyers. In the past, there was no income ceiling for HDB resale buyers. Millionaires also can buy, which probably explains why the number of HDBs transacted over $1 million kept increasing. But for plus BTOs, once the MOP is up and you want to sell it in the open market, your potential resale buyer's combined income must be less than $14,000. This effectively excludes high-income earners who could have paid more to buy a resale HDB flat that they really wanted. If the potential buyers have a limited budget, then it will also impact the seller's asking price. Because if your asking price is too high, then it will be difficult to find buyers ma. I think the intention is to slow down the HDB resale price increase. Does it mean that we will no longer see a $1 million HDB resale flat? No, I think it's still possible because there will always be couples who are blessed with extra cash from mama and papa, people who downgrade from condo, etc. But those will be the exception and should not be the majority. The next rule is that in order to buy a plus resale HDB flat, one of the buyers must be a Singaporean. In other words, couples where both are PRs won't be able to buy a resale HDB that is categorized as a plus project. This is unless one or both of them convert citizenship. Is this a big deal? Well, sort of, because it further limits your future potential buyers that potentially has a deeper pocket. The next rule is subsidy recovery. Yes, plus and prime flats have more subsidies to make the price remain affordable for most Singaporean households. But some of those subsidies will be clawed back when you sell the flat in the open market after MOP. The percentage might be different from project to project, but this is something to take note of if you are on a budget. The next thing that many people still get confused about is that the plus and prime categorization does not work retroactively, meaning it will only impact new BTO projects launched in the second half of 2024 onwards. So let's say if you have an HDB flat next to Toa Payoh MRT that you bought like 10 years ago or something, no, it is not categorized as a plus HDB. It is still considered a standard HDB flat with the 5-year MOP and other regular restrictions that most people are familiar with. Last but not least, the next limitation is that condo downgraders cannot buy a resale HDB flat for 15 months after they sell their private properties if they are under 55 years old. Actually, this rule doesn't just apply to plus flat lah, but any resale HDB flats. In the past, what has been happening is that there is a portion of the population where they sell off their private properties and just immediately buy a resale HDB flat. These people tend to be cash rich and they can just buy resale HDB HDB flat all cash without even needing a mortgage loan. And because they have the money, they tend to be more willing to pay higher to get the resale HDB flat that they want. I'm guessing some of the buyers of the $1 million HDB flats are downgraders, hence the government put these additional restrictions. So is it worth to buy a plus BTO project considering there are so many restrictions? Well, the trade-off is location. If you want to buy a BTO but still want the 5-year MOP, that means you will need to buy a standard BTO project where the location will not be ideal. It can be either far from MRT stations or located in a very ulu area. Or another option is to buy an older HDB flat in a good location as they will still have the 5-year MOP. But then again, resale HDB prices are always higher than BTO prices lah. So at the end of the day, it depends on your financial situation and your priorities in life. If you would like to know whether the 10-year MOP is worth it or not, check out the link in the description box below as I have discussed this in my other video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye bye!